Hello there, audience. Welcome back to another exciting episode. This gun is a little meaner than the 9mm I just showed you guys. This is a Smith & Wesson Airweight 38 Special Revolver. Holds 5 rounds. Kind of reminds me of the old police revolvers that, they used to use back in the day. This pistol has a lot of pros and cons. One of the pros is that it takes a 38 Special bullet. Look at the size of this bullet. This is a big bullet for this little tiny gun. I mean, the fact that it's not called a Magnum is surprising. No, it's called 38 Special instead of 38 Magnum. And I think that has something to do with like the rimming on the cartridge or whatever it is. Some of the things I don't like about this gun. It doesn't have the rear hammer on it. I know this is a concealed carry weapon. They took the hammer out so you can conceal it properly. You don't have to worry about catching the hammer on something and shooting yourself in the knee or something, or any other vital areas. That being said, I am very used to having a revolver, pulling the hammer back, and using the single action. You can't do that with this. The trigger pull on this, make sure it ain't loaded. Trigger pull on this is absolutely insane before that trigger finally goes off. Personally, I think that messes with accuracy quite a bit, but this is a powerful little gun. I like it. I don't quite have the trigger set memorized, so every now and then I'll pull it a little prematurely, surprise myself. But that's where gun safety comes in, right? This thing's got some kick to it. For a 5-shot revolver that you can keep in your pants, this is a pretty good little gun. Airweight Smith & Wesson. It goes really good with our Smith & Wesson 44 Special. It goes 38 Special, 44 Special, both Smith & Wesson. The only difference is my 44 Special is nickel plated. I got 5 rounds in this thing. Cycle's really good. Most revolvers cycle like fantastically. Typically your semi-automatics are the ones that don't cycle all that well. If your revolver isn't cycling properly, you have done some sort of damage to your revolver. Alright, there's a few things I don't like about this revolver. There's a few things I love about this revolver. I mean, every gun, you have your pros and cons. Like, brought up in the last video, pros and cons for the Mosin. Pros, it's really, really cheap to get and shoot. It has a very powerful round. Cons, the stripper clips, very, very sketchy with those. You gotta load your weapon with the stripper clip and manually remove it versus just the Mauser's instant remover, automatic remover, whatever you want to call it. This right here, hey, this bullet here has already been shot. This bullet here appears to be a dud. Well, we're gonna test that out. That was not the bullet, it was me chambering it. It is a dud. There you go, audience. One dud. Or maybe this is the one I filled with sand. I'm not sure. It might actually be the one I filled with sand. I found a bullet. There we go. And I recreated it like I do with my 45s. Anyway, pros and cons of this weapon. Like I said, the hammer, the double action, those aren't terrible, but I do prefer having a hammer with my weapon. Very, very short barrel on this one. And I can understand that because it's a conceal and carry, but still, very short barrel. So it's not all that accurate. Especially with that extreme trigger pull on the double action. This one specifically is kind of expensive for, you know, what you're getting. Like I can get a 38 Special Taurus for half the price of the Smith & Wesson, but you're paying for the brand. I like the little rubber pistol grip. Really helps you hold on to that, especially with the very intense recoil of this thing. Now, whenever I say very intense, I mean relative to its size. Like this doesn't have near the recoil of a 500 Magnum. That is a serious little weapon. Now, just to show you guys how much firepower this thing has, we're gonna walk over to the pond and we're gonna shoot the water so you can see what kind of splash this thing is. Now, obviously it's not a rifle cartridge. You're not gonna see a giant explosion in this video. Next video, you're gonna see some pretty awesome explosions. I'm actually kind of excited for that one. I hope my Mosin rounds, you know, set those off appropriately. I have a boat too. I'm sure I could figure out something to do with that. Anyway, check this out. That one sounded weird, but I'm still pretty pleased with it. See, this is actually my father's gun. I was thinking about getting him a 38 Special for his birthday, actually. Unfortunately, he bought this one like 2 or 3 days ago. I thought I'd do a review on it, and I guess I'm not going to get him a 38 Special now, because he's already got one. That being said, I'm not sure what I'm going to get him. Maybe I will get him... I mean, we don't have an AR-15 that fires 223s. Every good gun-loving American should have at least one AR-15. And at least one AK-47. I mean, I know it's not an American weapon, but all gun lovers should have an AK-47. It's your standard, basic, typical assault rifle, much like the AR-15. Darn, I missed. The 38 Special is relatively cheap to shoot for what you're shooting. Although, personally, as far as conceal and carry goes, I think I'd rather the 9mm. You'd still do... It would still get the job done. And I'd rather a semi-auto versus a revolver. But a lot of people would rather revolvers. Alright, I'm going to shoot that hunk of cement right there, just to see what happens. Choo! Choo! We ricocheted one off that way. It went off, hit there, went off, skimmed our bush right there. Anyway, I do like the ease of reload on this thing. However, I don't like the fact that it doesn't take magazines. That's one thing that I don't like about this gun for conceal and carry. Taking this into combat, if you had to reload this and you had to reload it quickly, it would take you much longer than it would for a semi-auto. But still, all in all, just because of the power behind this gun, I like it. It gets my stamp of approval. Thank you for joining me on another fantastic day, audience. I have something very special for all of us. Something that is not necessarily new to me, but also not necessarily not new to me. It's going to be very interesting. Please like and subscribe and share this video with your friends and neighbors and uncles and aunts. This is a good little conceal and carry gun. Especially for the money that you pay for it. It is pretty heavy, it is pretty powerful. A lot of people look for that in a gun, not necessarily a conceal and carry. I think that I would prefer more of the 9mm, you know, 380 type guns. A lot of people, you know, would prefer a 45. Or there's some people out there that carry a 44 Magnum with them. I mean, whatever your preference is. I like the 9mm because it's fast, it's easy, low recoil, keeps accuracy, gets the same job done. Now, there's a lot of arguments there. Like, there's tons of speculation, but I mean, a 45 could also not get the job done. They each have their good qualities, bad qualities. Let me know what you guys think. I'm always open to... There's a peacock on my picnic table. I'm always open to hearing what you guys have to say. And I mean, all this is opinion. You can't be wrong for your opinion. Your own preference. I'm not saying 9mm are better or best. I mean, 45s also have their decent amount of perks. I'm saying what I personally prefer. That being said, audience, you guys have a fantastic day. I know I am. This is going to be great.